bothers me that I can't mount here. Every time I come here, I try to mount, and I'm just like, arr. Give me that 2 seconds to mount, bro.
Alright, so the first pool in this is actually a little dangerous. This mob marked with star puts a curse on you, and it just annihilates your health, like, right away. I don't know if you saw my health drop there, but it, like, hit me, like, 50% of my health. So, watch out for that. There's no timer for that. So just be ready to heal it back with Excel Arm, or just, you know, right away, Cell Brew. On the other hand, the Shrouded affix guy here, actually, like, the first Leashing Claws that he's going to do actually hurts a lot. And if you just got hit by the DUF like I did, you're going to get chunked down to, like, 25% health.
Feels weird.
Now, having a Warlock here actually ends up being really important because it turns out I'm an idiot. And
No!
spoiled by the Warlock. What part of I fell did that guy not understand? Yo, Rogue's just like, I gotta go fast. I don't know why I'm arguing with Pascal here, but I respect it. Gotta zoom. So with this guy, you have a lot of things to take care of bats. Obviously, you can use Paralyze, you can use Leg Sweep. Ring of Peace doesn't actually work on the bat. It still casts if it gets knocked back, so it has to be an actual, like, stun or hard CC. So keep that in mind. During the shields, I recommend using something like, I like to use my shield trinket, or if you're still running the one from DOS like I am, you can use that when the shield comes up. If you hit the bat with it, it'll do a little bit more damage, which is nice. One thing to watch out for is its debuff. It does stack up if your healer's not paying attention.
There's no shield. I interrupted, expecting it to be there. See if I could, you know, cheat.
If your healer's not paying attention, it'll go up to 5 stacks, which does start to hurt. So, at 3, use a defensive, or just, you know, watch your health with Expel Harm. What I was talking about there is apparently a prop paladin can use Avenger's Shield right as the shield, like when he does the cast to bring up the shield. You can use it right then, and sometimes it'll interrupt it, but it only works with Holy Paladin. Something weird about how their shield works, so. Don't know if they fixed it or not. I don't play Holy Paladin, so. So, a lot of groups like to skip this. I generally don't like to skip this just because if someone dies in the next pack, they can run back without having to be like, oh no, I don't have an Invis bot or a Shroud. This next pack here, I just skip this. You can just walk right up the middle. Use the diamonds as your guide. Just walk right up the middle. You don't have to pull it straight down the middle. That pack actually kind of hurts too. Like, it claps. There's a way to, like, avoid some of the damage by the stairs, but you can just avoid all the damage by just walking up the middle. This place has so much count. If you pull everything in your way, you end up with like 137%. So, I'm going to do a lot of skips in here. That was the first of like 4. Now this guy right here, on Tyrannical, it wasn't really noticeable, but that slash he just did with me, it claps, bro.
Smacks.
It smacks, as Pascal just said. So, have a defensive ready. I used to pull this on Tyrannical week with like 2 packs from the next room, but yeah, it hurts. So if you're gonna do that, use a big defensive. Just pull it separate like I did. It's pretty nice. Gets the same amount out of the way. I set Transcendence here, and I tell people to hang back. I pull 2 groups at a time. You can pull the boss here. It doesn't matter. You're not gonna actually attack it, but when you come in, it'll just spawn. And just be ready to pick up threat with like some keg smashes and stuff. These 2 large casters, they do like cast, and if you break the shield, you can actually like interrupt it. Not a huge deal, it doesn't do too much damage, just watch out for the Sleep Cloud, because there is one of the Shrouded FXs in here, and the Leeching Claws again does still kind of hurt. You've got a little bit more verse if you chose verse. I'm up to 40% now. I think I have like 35% standard, so that's like 5% verse, but still hurts, so just keep an eye on that. And it's Sanguine week, so you'll notice I'm just slowly dragging as the mana worms die. We're actually going to do this pull twice, because there's 4 like packs in there. So grab 2 packs, come in, and then take care of it, and then go back out, grab 2 more. And then it'll be time for boss. Do keep in mind, too, that this pillar in the middle, that statue, it does LOS. So keep an eye on where your healer's at, especially with it being, you know, Sanguine week. As you're kiting, you don't want to LOS your healer and him not pay attention, and then you die. That would be awkward. It's definitely never happened to me. Never. Don't ask Andy.
Aggro.
Why do people keep on going in there? Like, why do you think I'm going to go in there? It's Sanguine week.
People
Let's
not
pull ads.
normally LOS this? Like, I feel like it's a easy brain play.
Big brain.
To
I don't
not
know
be
what
in
an
the
easy
boss
brain
room
is.
during.
Past count, I thought it was easy brain. Now this pack doesn't have one of those Shrouded affixes, so again, just slowly kite back. Pretty simple pack. That's not my rank piece. Other went through that. Not really sure what he was doing. Although it is good to know that the big guys don't go through ring. They're immune to it, so that's kind of cool. I would have waited for things to die first, but yeah, that's me. Alright, so next pack, super important to be killing the ads. You can see the rogues talking about it there. If you did this the first week, it is a little bit different this week. They made it so that the little spark ads don't spawn on pets, which is nice. And they made it so that they're actually tauntable, so they'll come to you. Super awkward last week. Tried taunting, and it's just like, oh, they're just going to chill on this guy who's over there. So, try to start this guy in like the back or the front part of the room. Just be towards the edge. You can actually stack up. It's gonna target everyone, but it's got like a 3-second delay, maybe 2-second delay until this shit comes out. And obviously, just be careful when the ad does its AoE. But just make sure you keep on taunting the new ones. I like to mark whichever one was out first. That way, people know to kill the one that was out first because it does do more and more damage the longer it's out. So you will get a couple up here, but you just want to keep on doing this. Make sure you save your cooldowns. This boss evocates and takes a lot more damage when it hits 0 energy. So just make sure you keep on just cutting around, staying close to your melee or range. Try not to use up too much space. And once the shield comes up, blow away all your stuff. You can see I'm potting here. I'm blowing. Weapons of order. Purge, purge, purge. I'm making fun of its voice animation.
I'm so glad that someone convinced me in WoW to turn on dialogue sounds.
They're the best. They are the best. Especially like this one and the one in Workshop. Trash, trash, trash. That's my favorite. Phase 2 is over. Just make sure it does do a burst of damage. If you get on like a really high tyrannical, it will kind of hurt a little bit. So make sure you use like Stell Brew or just have something ready for it. And then in this phase, when it comes back into phase 1, sometimes your DPS will be like, oh, but the boss is almost dead. So just make sure you tell them to get back on the ads if they're not. And make sure that you continue to pick up ads. You'll see I'm still continuing to mark the one that was out the latest, or the longest rather. That way people know which one to do. We were getting kind of behind there, so I did touch a death the ad. Not a big deal because the boss is going to die during the next evocation anyways.
Has to be the last one.
On Tyrannical, you want to be a little bit more conservative with the floor here. I'm being pretty liberal right now because it's Fortified. But on a Tyrannical week, you'll definitely want to be more conservative because I think last week we got like 3 evocations. A little less gear, but something to know for sure. Now, you'll notice I, in the chat, told them we're skipping the next pack, but we're just going to wait for him to pat. This is one that used to be the Shrouded FX last week. They changed it, but this guy just pats back and forth. So you can just wait till he moves to the far right as you're coming out of here and just walk past him. Boom. Second skip in the dungeon. Still didn't use a Shroud or an Invis bot. Now, this next pack, if you don't have a Rogue, you have to pull it. You don't want to use an Invis pot here.
Good distract, Rogue.
Because
good distract.
you need pots for the boss if they're back up. Assuming you didn't use them on the first one. This guy really hurts. Like, a lot. He used to teleport to... You'll see my healer pulled the pad up there, and so he jumped off. But this guy used to teleport to a range. Sometimes he still does. It's kind of buggy. I don't know if it always does it or doesn't, but if it does teleport to a range, you'll lose full aggro on him, so you'll need to taunt back right away. But this guy does a crap ton of damage, and that's actually a problem because you kind of need your defensives for Medivh when he does his Arcane Barrage. So with a Rogue, you can just skip this pat. Again, there's so much trash in here, unlike Lower Kara, that you just want to skip most of it. So we're just going to also skip this one using a Shroud. Again, if you don't have a Shroud, probably just want to pull it, deal with it. Be ready to use defensives. It hurts a lot. And again, be ready to taunt because it will teleport sometimes to like a ranged and just start blasting them, and it will kill them if it gets 2 heads off. Now with Medivh, I normally just tell my melee to have a quick interrupt order. I normally say like the 2 other melee and then me as backup. Generally, you just want to have people kick the frost attack. For the tank, the arcane missiles hurts a lot. So you're going to notice I'm going to use defensive every time that it comes out. If I don't have a defensive, I'm going to kick it. But otherwise, let it go through. It's not that dangerous as long as you have a defensive up. But, you know, if you don't have any defensives, definitely kick the first one or the first 2 just so you don't die. The flame attack isn't too bad. Unless Flame Wreath is out on the target, or if it's got like the cold floor, then you should. So nice actually having defenses for this guy. But other than that, just make sure that you're doing the frost kick, and you'll be good. Now here, Flame Wraith went out on 2 targets, so I'm just watching. If the Flame Wraith targets get targeted by the fire circle, like right now the priest is getting it, I go ahead and kick it, because if that hits them, it's going to kill them. Like they're already taking massive damage being in that circle. And definitely make sure you don't walk into the circle. If you walk into like the rogue circle there or the priest, we all just die. Now you've also noticed I put skull and X around the room. It's because I want us to do that order when it comes to the bird phase. I don't know what it's called. During this frozen phase, make sure you're either jumping or strafing back and forth. And it's not a bad time to kick the fire cast as well, because again, it's already doing a lot of damage on the floor, so especially if it targets like a hunter or a priest, you probably want to kick that. Oh, just barely got that one. But again, when it comes to the bird phase, I'm going to have all the melee go to skull. I normally go to X and do an interrupt, and then I go back over to skull to help. I thought I had my interrupt there, I didn't. And if the boss is pretty low, and it's Fortified week, these are, I mean, even if it's Tyrannical week, these are a good target to just touch of death. You can generally use it when they're at like 30% health. They end up going to the back one, that's fine. I'm just going to get another interrupt over here and then run over help. Notice this one's at like 40%. I'm already able to touch of death. So just touch of death it, get it over with. You're not going to need it anyways for the boss. Assuming you don't get another one of these phases. Which, on Tyrannical you can, so. But that's like the most intensive healing phase for your priests. Or any healer, so if you've got a hunter in the group, sometimes you'll lose them there. It's a good spot to use things like AMZ or Darkness if you've got one in the group as well. Oh, okay. That's not good. That could have been bad. Oh, he feigned. That's what he did. If a frostbite does go out, which just freezes somebody with like an ice block, all you need to do is put one of the fire circles, the cast that goes on someone, on top of it and let it go off, and it'll melt the fire. So, in case you didn't know that, that's a quick way to deal with that if a frost one gets off. But frost kicks are definitely the high priority there. Every time I jump down here, it reminds me of Thor Ragnarok, when Loki just gets, you know, he's just falling for 30 minutes. So I make sure to always put that in the chat or in the voice. I have been falling for 30 minutes! Don't sue me, Disney. Don't take my royalties. Alright, for here, there's a lot of trash down here. You can skip most of it. I'm going to pull the 2 Shrouded mobs.
Oh, I think it does.
The rats, a lot of people seem to hate. I don't think they're that bad. I mean, it's a poison dot that you can dispel, and then it does Stampede. But a lot of people don't like it, so don't pull the rats. The spider freaking claps, especially in Fortified. So you're going to notice I'm just going to pull this Shrouded mob. The book kind of sucks. Going to skip that too. Again, there's so much stuff you could skip in this dungeon. Just be careful if you do pull the Shroud mob, because like this spider gets super close, and then on the other side the rat's about to get super close. So be careful pulling this one. It's probably a better spot to pull it too. I normally pull the rats. This group didn't want to. And I was like,
yo, that rat got so close.
So go over there, and then this other spider down here is the other Shrouded mob. So careful, this rat, go around it, and then just pull the spider and get kind of close to the boss. Don't pull the boss obviously with it, but get kind of close, and you can just deal with it over there. But again, all this is skippable. You don't really need to deal with it. Skipping this, along with the other stuff I've skipped so far, does require you to pull all the mana worms in the next room. But those are really easy to deal with. I actually do it in like 3 pulls, just to be safe, because they do kind of slap as well. Now, it's super important on this next boss, when we get to it, that you tell everyone, do not pot. because you're gonna need an invis skip like 3 minutes after the boss, 2 minutes after the boss. And if everyone pots, they're not gonna have invis pot, and the pack on the bridge really sucks, and you can't use a shroud because for whatever reason, when you get too close to the shrouded affix guys, they pop out and they'll pop you out of stealth. But it doesn't happen when you invis pot. So with this boss, just make sure you pull it close to a wall. People said do corner strat. I know that was like a thing in Legion, but when I pulled it into the corner over here, you'll notice the balls spawn directly on the boss, which just gives them mana, so that's a bad idea. So don't do corner, do a wall. Wall's fine, but if you do corner, it seems to bug it out. So as a tank, you want to try to grab as many of these balls as possible. Right after you collect all the balls, one of those explosions generally goes out, and it hurts for range and melee, especially.
Oh man, I almost potted. Woo!
So grab as many as you can, and then immediately clear. I mean, you can leave like 2 on you.
Does corner strat not work anymore?
But on like Tyrannical and a high key, you'll definitely want to be clearing after every one and make sure your DPS and healers not clear as well. A key with this when you go to clear, you do have to stand in here. If you move around in that, it won't actually clear your stacks. You do have to stand still. So just be careful and know that it will shrink, so you may have to position yourself.
Man, that man just shot off a firework. I saw that.
But this is a good boss to lost if it's back up. Ours didn't happen to be. But it should come up. I think the Hunter Lust here in a few minutes. But Lust, if you got it, don't pot again. You're going to need invis pots. But you can pop everything else. And just collect as many balls. When you have the ball debuff, you do get a damage increase.
Oh, get fucked!
You can see that the Hunter didn't clear right away or didn't turtle. But it is pretty dangerous. He looked like he only had like 2 stacks, and he definitely went kablooey. So. There you go. But yeah, this boss is just an example of kind of like slow and steady. Collect as many balls as you can and just kind of nuke it down. It doesn't. Besides that and the ground effect that you got to move out of, it's actually not that dangerous as a tank. But you do want to try to grab as many balls as possible and clear off them. And as the rogue just said there's a couple different things you can do, like the DPS there. You can have a rogue cloak and run through the balls during cloak to just immune the debuff. Hunters can do the same thing with Turtle. He was asking the monk if he could do Karma or Diffuse Magic one too. I think Diffuse Magic probably. To grab balls. I don't actually know if that works. I would assume it probably would. But that would be for DPS or healer monks. Not us. Plus it doesn't matter for us, just eat the balls. You'll see here, I'm eating quite a few here. I'm probably gonna take quite a bit of damage when this next ability comes out. Just kidding, boss is done. So, if you skipped everything that we skipped so far, you will need to pull all these mana worms. It is, Grievous, it's Fortified, and it's Sanguine, so I'm just gonna pull them, the ones on the left first, and then the ones on the right, and then the ones moving out. If it's Tyrannical, you can probably pull this all at once, especially if it's not Grievous and Sanguine. But I'm just going to kind of pull it slowly. These do the same ability that the boss does, so you do want to collect the orbs, but beware, they do quite a bit of damage to your DPS either, so. Probably safest to do it in 2 to 3 pulls like I'm doing here. But maybe you're a blood DK, and you're like, why is he giving me all these monk tips? Because I like to zoom, I don't like to go slow. I feel like I'm on a wheelchair. I'm assuming if you got a DK, you can probably just AMZ these, because it's magic damage too. So, if you just want to pull them all on AMZ, you can definitely do that. But you're probably here because you're a monk. And there's the last pack here. Again, it's probably safe to do this in 2 pulls. I did it 3 just to be safe. But you can definitely do it in 2. And possibly 1 if it's Tyrannical, like I said. While you're chilling here.
Yo, what's up, Zago? What you up to, dude?
While you're chilling here, if you're enjoying what you're seeing so far, don't forget to like and subscribe. Yeah, shameless plug. Shameless plug. You can also watch me on Twitch. I stream every Tuesday and Thursday for Raid, 9 Eastern. And then Keys generally Wednesday nights, Friday nights, Saturdays, Sundays, pretty much every day. Especially now that I know what the keys are. I wasn't streaming the bloodbath that was last week. Oh boy. For as many keys, but I'll be streaming more coming up. So, up here, this is where you're going to want to make sure that you use an invis skip. Now, it's also important, not only that you use the invis pot, not the belt, you do need the extended length of the pot, but you don't want to go all at once because of the fire that's on here, so you kind of just want to go one at a time. That's to make sure that you don't get hit and killed. You'll notice I went first because I'm the speedy boy, I like to zoom. But you'll notice as I come out of stealth here that a couple of my DPS tried to go at the same time, like that monk and rogue. And guess what happens if you go at the same time, or one right after another? You get hit by the fire from the person in front of you. And then the healer tries to res, and then the fire spawns on him, and he's afraid because he's a clothy. And then sometimes he'll res them, and they'll both take it at the same time, right into the fire, and then they'll kill themselves again. Melee brands, am I right? Ooh, get fucked. Fun fact, as a monk tank, you can just eat these while you rest. Won't hurt that much. Alright, chest events, super annoying on Fortified. Definitely recommend that you have your DPS pop cooldowns on the king. They're not really important for the first phase of the next boss anyways. But generally, I like to have just mark the first 2 knights here. They'll appear differently if you're fighting the Alliance version. Apparently I'm in mostly Alliance group. But just mark both of these and have people like attack the main one and cleave onto the secondary. Because this event takes quite a while, especially on Fortified. These people pop their cooldowns on the wolf because clearly they don't know what's going on here, but save cooldowns for the beginning, right? And once you kill the first knight, then you can go on the king and pop all your cooldowns. These people, big melee brains, they're like, Smork, lots of deeps, watch me do it. And, now's the time you want to do it. Okay. Ideally, if there's a mob near it, again, make sure you're still cleaving onto it. This is a good time for us to pop most of our cooldowns, especially if there's like 3 together like this. Weapons of Master is a good time here because you'll get, bigger reset. And then just go on to the next one. You can see, like I said, all my melee popped all their cooldowns on the first night.
We only got 20% on that, dude?
Holy shit, man. We're gonna have to kill this whole fucking board.
Ask Kyle, super upset.
Pet's dead. Give fuck, Hunter.
Like, we have so much time, and they're over here popping cooldowns on the knight each time. Oh, by the way, don't stand those. As you can see, the rogue just... Circle bad. Lit up tiles bad. He's got a big case of melee brain. Another thing to keep in mind too is this king. If he gets below, I'm not sure if it's 10 or 15%. I know for sure at 10. But if he gets below 10% health, he just won't put the.
Wish this had a timer on how long he was stunned for.
So you can just chill there. So if he gets to like 15, you're not sure. Touch of death early. That way it pushes him down to the 10%. Like I said, I'm not sure if it's 10 or 15. Let me know in the comments if you know what it is.
I feel like no one's using cooldowns on the king for some reason.
I agree, Pascal. They're definitely
kind of sad
using it on the ends instead, because they're...
He's the one we need to kill, not these guys. Fast.
Silly.
Oh, they're getting fucked.
Like, you can see here, like, this event, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, it gives you like 10%. So we're still 5% over, and we skipped so much of this. Probably didn't need all the arcane mobs, but I didn't actually have a route that skipped the rat and the spider that we skipped, so I wasn't positive exactly what I needed here. But either way, like, look at the timer. We're super good on time.
You're walking into that square, dude. This Pat's just getting nuked. This is gonna take longer than the fucking next boss. Like, holy shit, bro. They switched off early. There you go.
So, if you stop DPSing, they do heal up, so it's important that they don't switch off early. Also, if you go to the king too fast before he's unbobbed, he'll just kill melee, so... Maybe let people in your group know that ahead of time.
Oh, fucking time, bro. Holy shit.
They finally seeded the king. Yay. After this event, too, if you've had people who died, this is a good place to put down, like, another feast. Check your, weapon oils and stones and all that jazz, because you gotta wait for Medivh to open the door anyway, so... Or Khadgar, or whoever. So, good time to put down stuff, and just kind of let your DPS, once again, know the kick order. Here I'm going to tell them that I'll kick first, and then the melee, and then you also want to let them know, like, in phase 3 you're going to lust, and not to kick. I was in a group last week where some DK was like, Smorg, bar to kick, I'm going to kick it, and he kicked it immediately. It's like, you get free DPS if you just chill back. Another pro tip you're not going to see here, because I'm in a full melee group, if you have a full range group in this dungeon, which I don't know why you would if you're a Medivh, but maybe it's all elemental shamans, whatever. If you're at a full melee group, in phase 2, if you don't go to the boss, he'll never actually do his regular abilities. He'll just keep on casting the knockback beam. So if you're in a full range group, you can do that. The last time I was in the dungeon, I actually stood like max melee range, and and so did the other, like I had a rogue or something that was max melee range, and then 2 range, and the boss never
Yo, what's up, ass?
stopped his knockback. So
What a nerd timing 22.
true. So that's something you can try.
Try
It doesn't
it,
always
yes.
work, like I said. But if you got a full range group,
God knows
don't
it's not
even
a lower
go.
character,
Just let them attack the boss and just keep on dodging the frontal beams, because then no mechanics happen. It's pretty nice. Another pro tip:
thought it
if
was
you're
dead
using
there.
Chi Torpedo,
Beam fucking hurts if it doesn't get kicked.
I like to zoom, so I use Chi Torpedo. Don't Chi Torpedo into this gateway. Save it for when you come out, and then you can just double Chi Torpedo and get past all the stuff. And
Where's the
start
rest of the
boss
gang,
early.
Zach? Andy's having dinner with his girlfriend. Sector and Twitch have been farming Mechagon for rings. And Peach said she was going to come in here and do keys with me, but she's just been watching TV, so I don't fucking know. Let's see if I can, Nope. Okay, didn't work.
Yeah, so right
Last time
there-
if I stood max melee range, it counted me as not going in. Kinda nice.
Yeah, so I think what happened is, like, you can see the Windwalker or the Survival Hunter, whichever one's on my left. He was standing in the hitbox. But
They
yeah,
got
if you
five
stand max
roll,
melee
let's
range,
fucking
it's a good
go.
chance that it won't actually go to the regular phase, and it'll just keep on doing the beam. Again, a lot easier if you got like a rogue that uses acrobatic strikes, or just a full range group. Again, if you got a full range group, don't even go in. Just stay out and let them DPS and do the mechanics. It's pretty nice. Also,
Oh my god, he just nuked everybody.
I don't know if you saw it, but the Hunter was the one with the debuff. If you get dispelled, which it was kind of bad on the priest because he was still moving, but stand still if you got the dot. Especially as you get
Yikes.
dispelled, you can die from your own balls. That's what just happened to the Hunter there, and he killed the monk. So be careful. So again, this part here, make sure to pick up all the ads. This is a really good place for defensives. I'm still using the DOS trinket that puts up like the big shield when it hits stuff. So just kind of group everything up. Don't kick till the very end of this cast, and definitely be ready to use your defensives. And this is the best spot to use Lust, Pots, Nizio, Weapons of Order, all that jazz. And just, again, be ready to use defensives for these ads. They do kind of slap a little bit. And definitely if, like, someone misses a kick, you're going to get trucked, so just be careful there. So there, no one kicked. Kind of hurts, but I had a defensive up. Still just finishing up these ads. Definitely stay close to this side that I'm at here, because there's going to be the 2 ads that spawn right at the end of the ship. So just be ready to taunt and pick those up. If your melee are standing over there, there's a good chance that they pull
Kick,
that
you
and
fuckers.
just,
I'm dead. Oh, thank God for Vile.
No! Shit.
You saw nothing. I was alive! Didn't count. Didn't count.
16 points. Get fucked. Alright, anyways, thanks for hanging out with me today. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, again, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave me a comment about anything I did wrong or think I could improve. I'm always looking to improve, so you can always follow me again, like I said, on Twitch. There's all my handles. And I'll see you guys next time. Later!